What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Acne Beautiful with yours truly, Morgan Elizabeth. I don't know about you guys, but I have been having a blast out here. I'm super psyched that we're moving into September. My birthday is right around the corner, September 11th. Woohoo! And today we are finishing up part 2, finally, of grains. So we're gonna wrap it up, and then after today's video is done, I'm super excited because now we get to dive deep into some of the more intricate concepts and just kind of fun things to talk about in general when it comes to healing chronic acne from within. And if you know anything about me at this point, you do know that I am a fan of that place in the middle where the spiritual and the scientific world seem to collide. So let me know what's going on in your lives, if you guys are getting involved in any new activities, if you're sky watchers, maybe you've got some great meditation practices. All of these great things, these wonderful modalities of healing and incredible ways of expanding ourselves, our consciousness, can really help connect us in to what it is that we're trying to create in our own lives. So I like to tie in all of this stuff to what we're doing here at Acne Beautiful because, you know what, I've said it before and I'll say it again, meditation or anything that gets you into that creative meditative space is a really integral key part to healing anything, to creating anything, to witnessing changes within yourself and being able to cultivate an awareness for what's going on in your own life. It really puts you in the seat of the driver, of the pilot. So as we dive deep into the world of Acne Beautiful and healing your skin from within, you're gonna see a lot of different angles coming at you from some of the metaphysical realms, the quantum realms, and these are really just the ever-expanding consciousness of us as individuals and all together, in this case, as a community of individuals who share something like-minded, like their passion and drive to heal their skin from within. Right? But you can, again, apply that to any concept in your life. So, getting back to those grains, let's pop back in and take a minute to reflect on what we talked about last time, just to give us a starting point. So, from an agricultural standpoint, when staples like corn and wheat began to replace some of our home-cooked meals, some of those really sit down, have your breakfast all together as a family, those meals that were really nutrient dense, once those things began to get phased out and we had more and more of our quick carbohydrate and sugar-laden cereals, pastries, and boxed foods hit our shelves and come into our homes, these convenience foods, as we can call them, including frozen meals, they became a replacement for these more nutritious meals. And often, oh, I heard something. Often they are really sugar-laden, carbohydrate-rich, and infused with a lot of really poor, damaging fats, oils. Boo. Okay, so these low-quality, low-nutrient-dense foods, they're not satiating. They're not. So what does that mean? They leave us hungry. They leave us with a feeling of hunger pretty soon after eating them because we get that initial blood sugar spike from them because things like carbohydrates and sugar in general, these break down into glucose really quickly into our bloodstream and we get a spike of energy which is soon to be followed with the inevitable crash. And we've all experienced that feeling before. And then we're moody, we're irritable, tired, can't really concentrate, and we're hungry again. And you don't have to experience all of those symptoms at once. And a lot of them are really in the background because we become used to them. They become normal to us. It's just like how we feel. So we reach for another cup of coffee, and we've all heard this before. You know, we've all heard this before. So these are basically foods that are just not blood sugar friendly. And in this case, we're really just talking about blood sugar, which is a whole big concept in and of itself, and certainly inextricably linked to any chronic condition and definitely acne as well. So we really want to control our blood sugar with the foods that we eat, and we can easily do that, but we can't do that very easily if we're consuming a lot of quick carbohydrate-rich foods that break down into glucose really quickly. And a lot of grains just happen to fall into this category because of the nature of them, okay? Yeah, it's just one of the many problems with grains and one of the main problems with grains. So we talked about that last time, and it's kind of where we ended up. The other problem that we run into with an influx of grains in our diet is that they end up replacing quality protein to a large extent, and our healthy fats as well. So again, we are missing in this case some critical nutrients that can actually help slow down the absorption of the glucose into our bloodstream. So with this sort of wash, rinse, repeat method of eating, inflammation results. Inflammation can very easily be present in a body with a chronic condition. This can range from inflammation in your joints, whether it's inflammation that you can experience and feel that people describe as like arthritis, that kind of thing, or invisible inflammation where your organs can be inflamed as well, like your liver, for example. Chronic inflammation on a whole is generally understood to be something to avoid at this point. We understand that it's not good for us. It's not a good state to be in and to stay in. Things like the development of diabetes and conditions like chronic obesity, cardiovascular disease, and many, many, many autoimmune disorders all have their roots in inflammation. So does acne. These epidemics have really begun to reveal themselves over the years with the degradation of our diets. As we've really begun to embrace, and not just begun, but fully embraced, what is now commonly referred to as the standard American diet. And we've seen these changes with agriculture as well. Okay, great. So with that all being said, we're going to continue down the track, but with acne in mind here. So acne is a chronic condition that appears to be exacerbated in some people with the consumption of grains, especially wheat. And I say this, take it with a grain of salt because everybody is different. I say that it appears to be exacerbated in some people with acne. Not everybody, but generally speaking, from my experience, most people who experience very chronic acne absolutely benefit by reducing and removing grains from their diet. And they can do this by reducing and eliminating the particularly aggravating grains like wheat. And they can continue to keep in some of the other gluten-free grains so that they have the experience of still enjoying grains without some of the detrimental effects. Now, some people are a little bit too sensitive in their digestion, a little bit too much leaky gut going on, to the extent that they have to totally remove grains for a little while just to allow for some further healing to occur, and then they can allow some gluten-free grains back in. Okay, but this is such a specific individual thing. And if you get to that point where you're having trouble discerning, that is where speaking to somebody like a complexion coach can help you discern what to do for yourself. All right, so as far as just general information is concerned, you're gonna have to be willing to experiment with yourself and to listen to your body and to be patient, to take the time. And then further from there, you may have to be willing to reach out and connect with somebody else who can help guide you, yeah, along the way, and sort of point some things out to you and say, you know, I don't know if you noticed this, or maybe this could be a connection. So that can help accelerate things too. So just remember that though that opportunity to connect is here. It's here right now. And you can reach out to me personally. You can reach out to me. You can leave a comment. You can go to my website and you can email me there. That's acnebeautiful.com. I am still working on everything there. So if you don't hear back from me for some reason because you did email me, then please continue to try and reach out to me in other ways. So right now, the Acne Beautiful Facebook page is where a lot of my energy is going, and it's where a lot of action is. So I check that regularly. And I've also been posting all of the videos on the Acne Beautiful YouTube page, which is an area where I'd really like to help direct people to, so that it's not all about the Facebook page. But that's another great way to get in touch with me if you leave a comment or something of that nature. So just want to remind you that you are absolutely not alone. And if you are stumbling and we haven't gotten to something yet that you need answers about, then I'm right here, you know, reach out to me. So, okay, where are we? Back to our modern diet. Our modern diet has got people in crisis mode, guys. It freaking sucks. They feel like they're out of control when it comes to their health. And again, this includes chronic acne. It really does. A lack of healthy fats, constant bath of sugar. It can be highly unsupportive for all of our organs, and especially our largest organ, our skin. So grains. I've said it in the first video. Are they necessary in a healthy diet? I don't like to use absolutes, so I'm not going to say absolutely no, absolutely not. And I do have to say it's different for every person. But in my opinion, they're not that crucial to a healthy, well-rounded, nutrient-dense diet. Yeah. So let's talk about what to do if we still really want to eat grains and we are looking for some gluten-free options. And then let's briefly talk about why wheat can be an issue. So I'm not going to spend too much time on wheat. I will spend more time on wheat in other videos, but there are a couple of reasons why. I'm not going to get too crazy into it right now. I'm going to save the deep diving with wheat and acne for another video because I want to get just very specific on the wheat acne or gluten acne connection. Other than that, I'm not going to go too deep today because all we really need to know today has become pretty colloquial knowledge in regards to wheat. So on a whole, around the time that agriculture was introduced, we began to have things like grains, right? We had wheat, and the wheat has changed many, many times for various reasons over the years to our present modern day wheat. Now, the present modern day wheat is just very different from its cousin from years and years and years and years ago. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. Again, most of which we're not going to get into today because it's like a whole nother topic in and of itself. But there are a lot of resources and documentaries and books out there that does talk about how wheat has changed over the years. Some of it is hybridization. Some of it was just natural stuff that occurs. And overall, like the piece that's really important for us to understand comes down to a couple different things. Before the introduction of agriculture, the blood type that was predominant then was our O blood type. Now the O blood type folks, if you happen to be O blood type, generally may do better on diets that do have some animal protein and have less grains. Perhaps this is because the bloodline was there before the introduction of grains. That's just the theory amongst sort of the blood type theorists out there. Now you take that information for yourself and combine it with your body, your ancestors, your chronic conditions, and then how you generally feel when you consume wheat. And then you can make a decision for yourself from there. Now, I myself consumed wheat regularly as a child. I consumed a lot of things as a child that I don't consume today without any issues whatsoever. I did start developing acne, just like most teenagers do around the age of like 12, 13, and then it only got worse for me from there. And around my teenage years and then into my early 20s, I used a lot of different dermatological products that were extremely harsh on my internal organs. And a lot of these were antibiotics. Why antibiotics seem to work for reducing acne temporarily is not fully understood, but it's a treatment that exists because it appears to work. At least for some people, and at least temporarily speaking, or for the time being that you're on antibiotics. So for someone like myself, who took minocycline, tetracycline, and then Accutane, which is not an antibiotic, but a very strong pharmaceutical drug to treat acne, I took these different things internally for many, many years. And over time, what I noticed was that over about 10-year period, what happened was things that I used to eat that didn't bother me were bothering me. And some of these foods included sugar, dairy, wheat. And I didn't know why, but I did know that taking them out of my diet gave me a lot of relief. What it did was it calmed down the heat and the inflammation, the fire that was burning inside of me, that was exasperating my acne, creating a really red, really irritated, almost itchy, hot environment that didn't have the opportunity to even heal. It wasn't even given the parameters it needed to just calm down and say, okay, now we've reached a state where we're not freaking out and we can actually start to heal. So it's in this constant state of inflammation from some of these foods. And it's not like there was I always have trouble saying that, a switch that flipped and one day I could eat wheat and the next day I couldn't. This was a gradual process that happened over time that has a name called leaky gut syndrome, which sounds really big and bad, but it's really common. And it can happen from one course of antibiotics. And I've had antibiotics for other things too, besides acne. So over the years, what happens with leaky gut syndrome is you have these teeny tiny little holes that sort of develop in your digestive tract, and it allows certain food particles and other things that should not be able to pass through into your bloodstream to pass through into your bloodstream, and your immune system reacts to them, and suddenly they are invaders, they are bad guys, they are something to get out of the body. So leaky gut syndrome is actually super easy to reverse and to heal, but you do have to take out the offending foods in order to give your body the opportunity to reach that sort of ground level place where the fire has calmed down and the healing can start to occur. That's the nutshell with wheat, with gluten and acne. So most of the people have already gotten to a place with their chronic acne where it is an inflamed condition, and some of these foods are simply exasperating it. And taking them out can calm the flames, calm the inflammation, allow for some healing to occur. Again, you don't have to, you don't need, your experience doesn't need to be like mine, where you've had a lot of antibiotics to even experience leaky gut syndrome. And there are so many different ranges of it as well. Okay, and then remember, nothing is forever. So if you take something out for a little while, just remember that you can always add it back in, and you are in control of all of those decisions, nobody else. So, wow, what else? Oh, so what can we replace? What can we replace some of these grains with if we want to eat some grains, but we really want to be mindful about eliminating wheat from our diet, but we still want to have that experience of enjoying grains. Okay, easiest one to go to is probably rice. You can have rice. It's not going to, it shouldn't create the same issues that other grains can create, other glutinous grains can create for you. So with any grains, you would like to soak them and sprout them if you can, but we're not, this advice, this video, Acne Beautiful, is going to give a range of suggestions, because I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. And I'm not here to tell anybody that they need to take their food preparation to some extreme. Okay, I've done that myself, and if that is a passion and it is something that you want to do, it can take your healing and it can take your health to another level, which is really fun and motivating and inspiring, but you have to want to go there. And I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody to start soaking and sprouting their grains before they can even cook them, okay? Because we're just trying to at first think about like what grains we can eat instead of wheat, all right? That's all. So rice, right? I love jasmine rice. It's a beautiful, fragrant rice. So if you're one who likes white rice, maybe you want to try something a little different, like some jasmine rice, some basmati rice. And if you like brown rice, then go for it. Brown rice it up. There's black rice, which is super delicious. Forbidden black rice. It almost looks purple. It's kind of sticky, and it's great for, anything that you kind of want to glue together. So you could try that. The sticky sort of sushi rice is really delicious too, so you could really have fun with your rice. And then of course we have all of the wild grain rices as well. Yeah, if you have a rice cooker, you can just set it in the morning and go to work and come home, or maybe you work from home now, who knows, everything's changing, and enjoy your rice. So besides rice, which is super common and everyone's familiar with, quinoa, it's become more common over the last 10 years or so. There's always that one. I've gotten a little bit sick of it because it became so popular for a while, but I'll throw it in there every now and again. Millet and amaranth, which are two of the lesser known. They're a little bit smaller, but they're really quite delicious. And if you cook them, sort of get the feel for how to cook them, then you can really enjoy them too. They're smaller and more seed-like, but they do cook up really well. In fact, the amaranth is really small, seed-like, and it's very gooey, almost gelatinous after it cooks, unless you really work on it and fluff it and stuff. But it's good when it's all gooey, I think. It tastes delicious with some grass-fed butter on it. I don't actually consume a lot of butter as part of my healthy fats, but I will consume grass-fed butter. And why? I don't know why, but to me, it just tastes so good in combination with the amaranth and a little bit of sea salt, and get some herbs in there if you want. So, Yeah, so that's amaranth and millets. You can try those. Sorghum. You can even pop sorghum like popcorn. Doesn't work that great, but it's okay. So you can cook some sorghum. Sorghum takes a while to cook, but it is delicious because it's almost like little pearly like balls. It reminds me a little bit more of a Israeli couscous, which I love, but it is a wheat-based product. So no Israeli couscous for me. And that brings another point. A lot of people get confused about couscous, and couscous, if you can say it, is a wheat-based grain. So if you are trying to avoid wheat, then say bye-bye to couscous for a little while. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there, guys, and discoveries continue. So take a look at your natural grocers, see what's out on the shelves, talk to people and start the conversation, see what they're doing, see what they're enjoying. But these are just some of the simple tips, what you can include in your diet if you are trying to eliminate grains, specifically in this case for the purpose of clearing your skin from within. All right, so guys, I'm going to leave you with this. Just remember, to be free of acne, you must feel free of acne. To be magnificent, you must first feel magnificent. And that is why we're here doing this together, because some days when you get out of bed, acne or not, you just don't feel so magnificent. And we need to get together and remind ourselves of our innate magnificence. Okay, so we can live the best versions of our lives that we can. Not just here on Earth, but out in the rest of the universe. The big wide cosmos with all of our friends out there waiting for us. Namaste.